What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of We Everywhere, baby. We're back. I am your host, Omar, and with me, as always, is the co-host with the Mo-host, Nadia Moham.
Hello, I'm the Mo-host.
That's right. So, we missed you last week.
And we're a little late this week.
My goodness.
It's been a rough one for us, guys. A lot has been going on in our lives. So bear with us. You know, our track record's been pretty good. A whole solid year, every week. Haven't really been late.
Yeah, and then...
But...
I was just going to say, and then just, life started getting in the way in really weird ways. And so we just never got a chance to produce that episode last week. And hopefully there's people hearing us right now.
We've lost all our listeners in the course of a week.
Nobody came back.
Did you give up on us? Don't give up on us. We're still here. We're still producing episodes for you guys. Don't worry. And without further ado, let's get on with the show.
Let's.
Well, since we have like 2 full weeks where we didn't record, there's a lot of content to get to. And I'll just start off with saying that I did my photo shoot with El Reve. That definitely happened. And
That's right. That was something that was going to happen on. We'll do all the topics from last week's episode, and then we'll do.
Yeah. So, did my photo shoot, and that was a really awesome experience. I mean, I'm still getting used to it.
Right. You're like, the next one I'm going to crush it.
The next one I'm going to crush it, okay? It's just, don't ever let anyone tell you that modeling is not hard. Don't ever let anyone tell you that modeling is easy, because it's not. And not for me, at least.
Right.
And not for a lot of other people from who I talked to. Like the night before, I was like eating half an avocado for dinner. Which is so ridiculous, but it really does make a difference to not eat heavy, the night before, the day of. Like, you should still eat. I'm not saying to not eat.
Right.
But you don't want to eat heavy. And what else? Worked out that morning, got my hard workout in.
Mm-hmm.
And then during the shoot, it was like, okay, make sure that the product looks good, that the clothes look good, and make sure you know your angles, and make sure your chin is a certain way, and make sure your head is tilted the right way, and make sure your face looks good, and make sure your hands are pointed, and make sure your toes are pointed, and make sure your back is arched, and and you're just like, what? By the time I remember to do all these things, what the hell does my face look like?
Yeah.
Like,
Every picture is just of you thinking.
Yes.
You're like, this is a really pensive piece of lingerie.
Man. And it's like, I'm a short girl. I got short limbs and a short torso and a short neck.
And a short neck.
I got short appendages, okay? And when you're short like that, everyone wants you to pose. They say, stretch, lengthen, stick this out, and it's like, I am. Do you not understand that this is as far as my body goes? They're like, no, more, arch. And I'm like, I am arching.
I got short limbs.
It's just like, this is as good as it's going to get, honey. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So, it was just a lot to think about, a lot to process. And just getting used to being in front of the camera versus behind the scenes. I'm just always behind the scenes. So that's one of them. Mm-hmm. And then secondly, it's like, I'm going to dive deep for like just a moment. I've shared with you, like growing up, I wasn't always the most secure. I didn't really have the best role models. You know, I grew up in a time of the 90s when rail thin was attractive. I grew up in a predominantly Caucasian neighborhood. There was no one really that looked like me in the media or in the magazines, in TV shows and movies. So you get this breeding to think, well, I'm just not the standard of beauty, or I'm not up to par. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So growing up, I felt that way, you know, and then of course I had Nas as my cousin, which I've shared about before, and Ladies Like Us, and I maybe even here too. She kind of became part of my standard of beauty because she's obviously so beautiful, and everywhere I'd go, people would tell me how beautiful she was. So it was this constant, like, you know, reaffirming of that. And my body type is not like hers. So it was more in my mind, because I was young and impressionable and already didn't feel a certain type of way. It was just more proof of, okay, well, you're not in that standard of beauty kind of a thing.
Right.
So with all that being said, it was a big move and a big step for me to model next to Nas in my underwear, in my chonies, you know what I mean? And be cool with it and just own that this is me. This is my body. Like, I'm representing all the medium to large girls out there, you know, that wear a size 6 to 10 or 6 to 12 or whatever. And, you know, that don't fit into the, like I had mentioned before in the previous podcast, either they're super small or they're plus size. That's what's represented. So, it was important for me to say yes, important for me to do this for representation, because representation matters, but also for myself. So it was a double victory in the end.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so that's the big takeaway from all of that.
Yeah. And I mean, you should feel good about it. You know, you manifested it into existence, if you will. Just by noticing that there was something that wasn't speaking to you. It wasn't that you were just sitting there like, hey, when am I going to get my shot? Like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because it was never that. And I think with that came with a little bit more, what do I want to say? Like it made it a bit more comfortable. And the fact that you weren't in anything, I mean, we've mentioned this before, like, but you weren't in anything that I would consider like super revealing. Like, whoa, look how scantily clad she is. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It wasn't anything more than like wearing a bathing suit.
Yeah, and it's funny though, because like I'll have people like my parents who will see a picture of like someone doing a hand bra. And then my mom is like, oh, they're so naked. I'm like, you can't see anything. She's like, they're naked. And I was like,
but if they had a little top.
Yeah, it would be different, right? Well, who knows? Who knows with my mom? She'd probably be like, It was so funny to be like, well, Nadia's she's doing a photo shoot. Oh, for what? I was like, lingerie? She's like,
You told them?
No, imagine.
You did.
I told them that you had a photo shoot, but I didn't say it was for lingerie. I was just saying, you had a photo shoot, and they were just like, okay, cool. Because it's like, it's weird because it's not that I didn't want to get into a conversation where I would have to deal with mom being judgmental or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's simply, I just don't want to have the conversation, period.
Yeah.
Like, a photo shoot for what? I don't know. I like to say that a lot. I don't know, Ma.
It's the best. Just plead the fifth.
Yeah, just be like, I don't know.
Yeah, just plead the fifth. It's always for the best. Listen, my dad's definitely going to have probably something to say because he had a fit over my outfit when I got engaged, which was like that sheer dress, which I had like high-waisted bathing suit bottoms and like a bra top. And he was just like, I can't show anyone this. You're naked. Like, okay, well, I am 36 years old. Can I be sexy? Is it allowed?
He's like, no.
Am I allowed to be sexy yet?
He goes, not until you're older than me.
Right, exactly. So that was cool. I got to do that, and I got to get my hair and makeup done for a change, which was also very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I have no idea when they're coming out, so stay tuned.
Yeah. Keep refreshing that IG page.
Yeah.
And see when Nadia pops up.
Yeah, it's for her next collection. It's a capsule collection, and it was more of like a loungewear kind of type. Like, you guys will see it when it comes out, I'm sure. So keep your eyes open.
If the next one was a little more like lingerie and less loungewear, would you go for it? Like, would you continue?
I don't know. We'll see where my body journey goes.
I just started eating gancitos again. I gotta get my Ganz, Panz. That is something we came up with so long ago, and I can't believe we just never bring it up. Okay, so for anyone who's like, what the fuck? For anyone who doesn't speak Spanish, we call belly like panza, right? So Nadia and I are always like shortening words or just making up our own stuff. So we just started calling it Panz, like Panz. We're like, oh, look at your Panz. And then because gancitos, which is, I guess, man, look at me, explanation station. A gancito is a Mexican, what would you call them?
Like pastry.
Pastry. Imagine
processed, prepackaged
like a
pastry.
chocodile, right? Oh, chocodiles. They don't make
What
those
the
anymore.
hell is a chocodile?
Oh my goodness.
Let's just okay.
No, it's all going to lead to it.
Okay.
But a chocodile is, imagine a Twinkie that has been dipped in chocolate.
Oh my god.
So it's essentially like a Twinkie, but encased in chocolate.
Okay, similar.
Very similar, not the actual Twinkie.
Yeah. Well, gansito is like a cake.
But a gansito is essentially
similar
a cake
shape to a Twinkie.
Dipped in chocolate, but in the middle it has
like a raspberry
cream and I think it's
strawberry,
I think
whatever.
it's strawberry
some
layer.
Berry.
So like a little cream layer, a little strawberry layer inside of this cake.
Yeah.
Then it's dipped in chocolate with some chocolate sprinkles on top.
And the part that changes everything is that you put them in the freezer. Omar taught me that.
That is a real Mexican thing. Like you grab your gansito because you can buy them obviously individually, but we always used to somehow get a box,
huge
of like
box.
I don't know how many, 1,000, whatever, and just cram all that shit in the freezer, and then you'd end up eating this.
Oh, so good.
This like frozen bread.
It's so good though, because the bread doesn't really get hard, not that hard.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's totally the way to eat them. But because of gansito, and we're gonna keep getting a big old panza because of this gansitos. That became the Ganz Panz. So now Nadia and I are those are our European names.
Yeah,
Panz and Panz.
Panz and Panz. The Ganz Panz.
The Ganz Panz.
So now you know, guys. That's another one of our little nicknames.
That's our dance crew. Coming up next is the Ganz Panz.
You got the good vibration.
Come on.
Wow.
Where are we going? In the back of
Where
the
are we going?
Push it, move it.
That's like that game, Taboo.
No. Oh no, that's
What is that game?
Taboo's another game. You're talking about Bop It.
Yeah.
Twist it, pull it, jerk it.
That's what it's called, Bop It?
It's called Bop It. I always wanted one of those.
I thought Bop It was... Oh, that was a Skip It. Okay, never mind.
No, Skip It was that ball and chain.
I was thinking that was called a Bop It, but that's called a Skip It.
Do you want to pretend you're
that
in
was
the world's cutest prison?
No, that's because we were getting fat. And they were like, okay, we need to make some games for kids that gets them moving.
What about the one that was a dodgeball with a plastic disc around it? So imagine like Saturn.
Okay.
Right? but it was like a dodgeball.
Did you stand on it?
Yeah, and you would stand on it and hop around.
Yeah,
on it.
yeah, that was like impossible.
Well, the funniest thing maybe it's because I was too old to play it because I'm pretty sure it was my cousins. Or too fat. Now that I'm thinking of the way this story's going, whenever I would jump on it, the plastic would just scrape on the floor. So it was just like I wasn't doing any. It was the worst.
It wasn't for you.
It would make that horrible sound like those stupid roller skates used to get that would just clamp on.
Oh my god, we were just looking at those the other day. You couldn't even really skate. It was like a forward and back, like like shuffling. You would just shuffle your way, and you make no progress. Like it took forever to get anywhere in those things.
I was like, this thing has wheels. Why am I still dragging my feet? Like you never rolled.
No, those sucked. Never worked. Never worked. And then it was like kind of dangerous because like the straps never really secured your ankles like on because you were supposed to wear your real shoes with them.
Yeah, and then they would just like clamp onto them.
And it was never like tight enough, so you'd like twist your ankle. Do they still make those?
I don't know. I would assume. I haven't been to a 99-cent store in a while. I feel like that's where you would find it.
Oh man. All right. What else happened? Honestly, what we watched last week was Midnight Mass. That was a suggestion from Dustin.
Right. And
Japanese news correspondent. Dustin, who just celebrated, by the way, his birthday.
That's right.
So birthday shout out to him. He recommended Midnight Mass, and I like to be honest around here. Mm-hmm. I did not care for this show one bit.
I'm gonna have to second that. We received it as a recommendation from another listener as well.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay, cool, because Dustin is hot with the recommendations. Like he's always, him and I are always throwing them back and forth.
Right.
So,
and he's usually a hit. He usually, you guys like the same kinds of things.
Like we have that kind of same vibe, we're like, okay, this is going to be good. This is not whatever, but there's always room for,
mistakes.
For mistakes. There's always room for bad suggestions. What are you going to do? No, I mean, the truth is that the show is actually, it's not bad at all. It's just for my taste, and obviously for your taste as well. The pacing was just way too slow.
It was slow.
There's a lot of monologuing. There's a lot of conversation. And again, it just felt drawn out, and I don't feel like there was any, like the payoff or how it ended. I don't know. It wasn't something I was like, wow, this is like really, really good. Yeah,
I felt the same way. And matter of fact, I didn't even write any notes, and we watched it so long ago that it doesn't even resonate. I don't even remember. It was totally unforgettable to me because I was just like, oh my God, more talking. And it's not that I can't pay attention to talking. I don't mind the talking. It just did not entertain me. I don't know. The conversation was just not interesting to me whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. And there was a lot about religion.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I was like, okay, cool, but I already have my POV or my thoughts on religion too. So some of it was like, yeah, I already kind of knew that. Not knew that, like they weren't teaching you the Bible or anything like that. But it was just, they point out a lot of like how ridiculous a lot of things in religion are.
Right.
Like just based on the fact that the main character, if you will, is like a Monsignor, and there's a lot of church in it. Hence Midnight Mass. And of course we watched the whole thing, and I actually like the creator director. I'm sure he's like a couple of things on it, but Mike Flanagan is his name. Remember, every time the credits would be like, "Damn you, Mike Flanagan,
Flanagan,
not again, Flanagan." Because he did the Haunting of Hill House, which we saw, I think, last year, maybe even before we started the podcast, which was, remember those kids, and it's like flashback between when they're adults and their kids, and their mom goes.
Oh,
crazy.
yes. That was good. I like
the whole
that.
show, there was always like these ghosts in the background and stuff that you maybe noticed or didn't notice.
That girl was the same girl in the movie.
Well, yeah, that's his wife.
Yes.
So
I think she helped either produce it too or something. She was in the credits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he did another one called like The Haunting of. He's really into haunting. You know what I'm saying? You got The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor, Midnight Mass. He did that weird movie that we saw, Gerald's Game.
Oh yeah,
where that guy has the heart attack.
I wasn't mad at that.
No,
that was interesting.
He also did make Oculus, which I didn't like. So
yeah, that wasn't good.
Yeah, he's not 100, but he's a good 70% in my book. And that's
can't
good.
win them all.
That's right.
But yeah, so that was a miss for us. But go ahead and check it out if you are curious. There was still, again, it wasn't the worst show I've ever seen. There were definitely parts that were entertaining. And there's a bit of if I say that there's a blood sucking situation, does that give it away? Am I, spoiler alert?
Surprise, it's all about leeches. She gave it all. It's just a documentary about
attorneys.
Oh wait, we have that now, don't we? Wait, where is that? Hey. Finally, I love when we can use our soundboard.
Oh my god!
But yeah, that was the part where we were like, not that was. It was a part of our Halloween, binge.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about because we didn't do shit for Halloween.
Because this leads to the fact that this year, I don't know if I had mentioned it on the podcast before, but my big issue with Halloween this year is that I didn't feel the vibe at all. And I don't know if that's because, well, obviously the pandemic or whatever, or we didn't have anything planned. Normally we have something planned or something to do. There were kind of no plans on the books. And then at the same time,
seems like everybody else had plans.
I know.
I looked on the gram and everybody was at Halloween parties. I was like, damn, we didn't even get one invite. Not one invite. Thanks, guys.
That's it. We were like, okay. And it's funny because at the same time, we didn't call anybody to see either.
Yeah, we didn't.
I was just kind of like, I don't know.
We were just over it this year. Well, I had to work all day.
Well, you did. Actually, you did.
Saturday, not Halloween day, but I had, I had one client on Halloween day, but I had just been working my ass off that whole week. It was just a really busy week. So I wasn't thinking about Halloween. It wasn't on my mind. And
then somebody stole my credit card information.
Oh, yeah.
And so my cards got shut down and everything too. So I was like,
you're all bummed out.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I don't want to just, it's weird because it's like,
you feel like you can't do anything.
Yeah. Even though it's like, well, I pay my credit card off with my own money. So it's not like I don't have money.
What the hell?
Do you know what I mean? It was,
and I have money to cover, that is just not an issue.
It's like all the money that I would spend on this credit card for this month, I would just pay it off right away. So it's not like I don't have the money.
Right.
But something about it, like coming out of my debit card.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, what if I go broke in this last week? I don't know. It's like some weird, block that I had that I was like, can't use the debit card. You
rely on your credit card too much.
But I pay the shit off.
Yeah.
That's,
as long as you got it.
That's what keeps me in that good credit score.
As long as you got it. But yeah, unfortunately we didn't, and I love Halloween. That's just, also I didn't really decorate. We didn't have a costume, just none of it. It just kind of came by so quickly. Like the whole freaking month of October, I just blinked twice and it was gone. Yeah. So,
and it was also one of my coworkers, had a baby and he went on paternity leave, which left me with extra work.
Right.
So I was also coming home from work just fried,
Tired. Yeah.
It was just
That was just
life.
us.
It was just kind of life crushing us on just, and not in like incredibly like insane ways. I mean, yeah,
Just
credit
work.
card, losing my, I guess you call it, it is credit card fraud or whatever. Like, all that got situated, but at the same time, it just didn't put us in the place of like, what are we going to celebrate?
Mm-hmm.
And then, I didn't watch It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Oh.
And that ruined it all for me.
That's what ruined it for you. Didn't feel real.
It didn't feel real.
You could still watch it.
Nah, what's the point now? Now I have to watch the Thanksgiving one, and that one's not very good. Not that Charlie Brown is good at all, like the Peanuts stuff.
Yeah, we talked about that.
It's just one of those things you always that I always do. I'm like, all right, whatever.
It's crazy because now that we've been doing this now for over a year, we've passed our year mark.
Mm-hmm.
We're on our second round of holidays with the show. It's just crazy to think about,
Yeah.
Because like last year we talked about the big, what is it? The pumpkin. The great pumpkin.
The Great Pumpkin. Charlie
Omar
Brown.
loves the great pumpkin. And I'm like, meh.
and something that we mentioned last year, when we did the couch quickies on like horror movies and slashers and stuff, we had mentioned Halloween as a movie, or the movie, but we had remembered not seeing it recently. It was
right.
So.
Oh yeah, we did our little marathon.
Actually, watched.
That was the most Halloween thing we did.
We watched the two newest Halloween movies.
Yeah,
which was Halloween and then Halloween Kills.
Right.
And I gotta say, they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're not bad.
They're pretty good, but it really got us thinking about Michael Myers more than ever before, and just how indestructible he is.
I mean, we know this, but it's like on a whole nother level in this latest one. It's like really like a pitchfork to the back, 5 gunshots to the gut. Like, I think he got like 5 gunshots to the front of his body. He got slashed in the gut, a pitchfork to the gut and the back. I can't remember what else, but this guy just kept going and got up quickly and easily. And his stiff little swift movements.
And it's like his incredible sit-up that doesn't seem to take him any kind of effort.
No struggle.
My boy got abs.
No struggle whatsoever.
If I did it, that would have been my sound. They're like, is he dead? Is he getting up? And be like, like, yeah. He's getting up and he's
doesn't even need his arms to push him from the ground for leverage. No struggle whatsoever.
And it's crazy because when you think of a Freddy or a Jason or any of those, you give them a little bit of, there's something mystical about them,
right?
It's like Freddy's in the dream, so everything can happen. Anything can happen.
Yeah, he's in your nightmare.
Like Jason was essentially like a dead kid who came back, so you're like, okay, there's a bit.
He's
of
not really real.
there.
Yeah.
But Michael Myers, like their whole explanation is, he's evil, and evil is unkillable or whatever. You're just like, really though?
Just straight evil. That's it. Just a regular evil guy.
Why will no one shoot this guy in his head?
Man, the amount of times where they're like, this is enough. Like, finish the job. Stab the guy in the brain. Like, straight square through the eyes. I need you. He'd probably still get up if it was straight through the eyes.
Just like, I don't need these.
Yeah, didn't get my brain, idiots.
You stabbed my eyes downward. So all you did was, yeah, sure, I'm blind and my cheeks hurt, but brain, totally fine.
Yeah, they never finish the job. They're always like, they like stab him in the back and then they walk away. They're like, oh, thank God that's over.
Yeah, and it's stupid to try to apply logic to horror movies. Like they're all like, what was that? But no one ever turns on the lights.
No.
So it's just like, of course you're gonna get killed.
It's the whole running upstairs to get away thing too,
Yeah.
It's just
and but like I said, Halloween Kills. Even though it's a brand new movie, it was streaming or probably still is streaming on Peacock. So if you're one of those people that has Peacock for whatever reason, it's on there. So that's how we watched it.
Yeah, it was still good though. I was into it. It was entertaining.
Yeah, And I was
They
like,
did a
I'm
good
going to
job.
watch it because Jamie Lee Curtis is in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I think the last Halloween movie I had seen was, I think, the Rob Zombie one. But he made 2, and I didn't watch the second one. I just
I'm
watched the first one. I was like, okay, cool. But
Yeah.
it's like, without Jamie is nothing.
Yeah.
But this one was good.
They had Kyle Richards too in it in this last one. I was telling you, she played the little girl that Jamie Lee Curtis in the original one was babysitting.
Mm-hmm.
So that little girl that she was babysitting grew up to be Kyle Richards, who is a Real Housewife of Beverly Hills and sister of. She's related to the whole Hilton family.
Oh, right on.
She was in it as well. She did a great job too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's cool when they bring back old cast members. Feels a little more authentic. But yeah, I do recommend them. I liked them.
Yeah, it was good, and it was good to get a little bit of that Halloween stuff in because
that was our only taste.
I gotta tell you, I was watching a lot of Halloween baking. Like lately, if I don't know what I'm gonna put on, I just want background noise or whatever. I'll just be like, oh, at Halloween, Food Network, and I guess now you got like Discovery Plus or whatever. We'll do well, but basically, Food Network goes crazy with their Halloween baking competitions.
Yep.
And I'm always like, all right, I'm gonna burn them. And I gotta tell you guys, I watched. I'm gonna just give you a quick list of the shows that I watched. I watched Halloween Baking Champ, Halloween Wars, Freak Show Cakes, Haunted Gingerbread Showdown, Halloween Cake Off, and then like what? Even just what was the other one called? I don't know, maybe like a Buddy versus Duff or something like that. But these are all Food Network shows. And of course, I didn't watch all of them. I was just watching certain episodes of it. But I was just like, man.
And you fast forward a lot.
I do.
He goes to like the beginning. What's the challenge? Oh, what's the end result? Cool, saw that. And then that's it. But at one point, I literally was like, can we watch something else? I'm on a diet. I was so sick of watching cakes. Like, I want cake so bad right now.
And I think, you know what, that was also, I was like, you know what? Yeah. Especially because I was watching one that Hulu had just put out called Baker's Dozen with Tamira Mowry.
Uh-huh.
And you were like, can we just stop watching desserts?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, yeah, all right. Because, but I didn't want to stop because she's not, at least not in the first like 2 episodes I watched, she's not very good at hiding the ones that she doesn't think are great. Everybody's like tasting it and then they're like, oh, okay, well, it's a little sweeter. But her whole face just gave it away. She's like, this is interesting, which is like such a knife in the heart. Like, you're like, this is interesting.
Well,
like,
they gotta know. They gotta know. One other fun thing that we did was, so we had a Universal pass before COVID. And once COVID hit, obviously everything shut down and we couldn't go. And so then I think a few months ago, Omar went back to Universal to see if they would reinstate our pass.
Yeah, that's when I was the 40-year-old guy at grad night.
Exactly. There was that story in a previous episode. And so he reinstated it, and we came to find out that it was going to expire on October 29th.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, shit, we should just go one last time.
I was determined to go. I was like, I was like, I don't care. I'll take off work if I have to, but I'm getting at least some of my money's worth on this. You know what I mean? Because even though they extended it when I went that time, which was very cool of them to be like, yeah, nobody could come in 2020, so we're extending it. But it just gets so busy, and their hours are so bad.
Yeah, their hours are shitty because they close
at like 5.
Yeah. No, I think they normally close at 6.
6.
But because it was Halloween hours, they closed a little earlier to set up for, the Halloween haunt or whatever.
Yeah, and then I was like, and our season pass they don't even get us into the Halloween haunt.
See,
like,
here's my thing. I feel like but then it'll probably be even more overcrowded. But then you just control the population. I just feel like if you're going to pay for a pass, they should give you like a coupon or a discount for the Halloween stuff.
Yeah. Well, I've only had,
like, you know, it's just like, come on.
I mean, I've only had Universal and Six Flags Magic Mountain passes. And I know that the Universal one doesn't get you into their Halloween thing. The Magic Mountain one does.
It does?
But the Magic Mountain one, you have to pay for a maze pass. Do you remember that?
Oh,
it's like
okay.
A separate,
so it gets you admittance, but
like
not the maze pass. Okay.
And walk around the spooky shit.
Well, I mean, at least.
Go into the mazes.
Yeah.
And for me, that's like, well, at least that's something.
That's something,
you know what I mean? Because, like, okay, let's say, I want to say that they used to do one of the roller coasters in reverse. Like, I don't know if it meant they flipped the
Magic?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think they used to do Colossus.
Yeah, it was Colossus. They would do
like
Colossus.
Flip the train backwards so you could go backwards on it.
Yep. It was awesome too.
You know, that's worth it even if I don't go into a maze or whatever.
But see, so Magic Mountain does it differently where they do a separate pass for mazes where Universal doesn't. So that's why they don't do that.
They got to get their money somehow.
Yeah. But yeah, so Omar and I went to Universal and it was a very different experience this last time because we were like completely sober. And when I say completely sober, I mean completely sober.
Yeah, it was
Nothing.
The first time since
no weed pen, not a sip of alcohol.
Nothing.
And it just wasn't as fun.
It really wasn't. It really wasn't.
I was like, damn, these rides aren't hitting the same.
It's crazy. It's crazy how just like ho hum everything was.
We did it, but
and I think it's different if you go to something that has a roller coaster or a flip or something like that. Then you're like, well, at least I'm getting that adrenaline. But if you're just sitting in a car looking at the life of pets or whatever, you're just like, this would be a whole lot better if I wasn't sober right now. Like, is it cute? Great. Does it look like they put a lot of detail into look at this brickwork.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but I don't care. However, this time, because we went on a day that was not packed, we got very lucky.
Yeah.
All the ride lines were like 15 minutes,
5 minutes, even some walk-ons.
Yeah. The longest one was the Simpsons one. We waited in the Simpsons line
for like, what, 30 minutes?
I think, maybe something like that. But the Harry Potter line, we
walked right on.
Just walked right on.
Same thing with Mummy.
Yeah.
We rode that twice.
So it was like, I feel like if you can go to Universal, which especially during these Halloween times, has a 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. hour, like operating hours, and you get to leave early because you did everything, that's a win.
Yeah.
That's 100% a win.
Yeah, we did everything except for your favorite, the tour.
The tram.
The tram. I was like, God, not again.
I will say that if the tram had something new, because I know it doesn't, then I was just like, okay, there's not going to be anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
we went on Jurassic, which we never ever go on because that ride gets you pretty wet. And we're just like always, I don't know. We just never, we think we tend to go at cooler times too. I don't remember, but we never go on Jurassic, and we did Jurassic this time. It was hot too.
Yeah.
That day we went.
So we're like, okay, it's hot. We'll probably dry off fast. Let's go and get on this Jurassic Park, which, if you've ever been to Universal, the Jurassic Park ride hasn't changed in regards to what it does. It just has a different, well,
like, to us, because we never go on it.
Right. So it's like, okay, now instead of you driving through the original kind of Jurassic Park jungle-y type stuff, now it was
like CGI.
Yeah, it was a lot of CGI and a lot of video.
Which is essentially all of Universal.
Right, which is what they do, right? It's like
That's what studio. They do.
So it was totally worth it. Like, it was cool. But I thought it was funny that once we did the drop, I don't feel like I got crazy splash with water or like but the damn seat when I sat down was soaked.
Yeah, so your ass
like,
got
what?
more wet from sitting
Yeah.
down.
You know, I hate that shit on all water rides too. Like,
Yeah.
whether it's like a log ride or a rapids ride or anything that has water, for some reason, the seats are always puddles. And you can walk out of there and be like, hey, I got a little bit of, you know.
But you're just only your
Like, it
ass
looks like
is
it's
wet.
sprinkled on my shirt, but it flooded my ass.
Oh, you got the swamp ass.
But, you know, we got it in and we got to go see the Minions, which are obviously very special to us. Because Nadia is a Minion.
Yeah.
So that was really, really, really cool.
Yeah, so that was a fun day. We got our little, you know, adventure on in there, and then we ended up trying out. We were both really craving pasta because I don't remember why. Because I was on a diet, and then that was like one of the first days that I was like off the diet, so we like kind of went crazy.
The day after the photo shoot.
Yes.
So you were like, I'm eating something.
Yes.
And I was like, pasta, please.
Yeah. Because we never get pasta. I'm like, pasta. It's forbidden.
Yeah. You're like, I can't eat that pasta.
But I'm like, pizza,
Let's go
okay.
have some toast.
Yeah. We can
okay.
order a pizza. Like, that makes any sense. But yeah, so we went to this spot in Culver City called Pasta Sisters. I kind of had my eyeball on it from before. So I had it bookmarked in my Yelp. And it was kind of on our way home. So we went there, and it's kind of in a hidden, what did you say? It was like a interior design, decorating kind of like shopping center. Like it's like a plaza that has, it's like a hub for a bunch of furniture stores and interior design stores.
Mm-hmm. Right there in Culver City, there's like the Helms Bakery. It's like a legit bakery, right? But in that section that I guess is the bakery property, they've made it a bunch of different shops, like you're saying. And there is a really good bar there called Father's Office, where we used to go get like Belgian beers and just kind of like a lot of good imports or craft stuff. Very decent food, even though they have one of the best hamburgers there, but they don't let you do anything. Like, you know,
you just order as is.
Yeah, you can't remove the lettuce.
How European.
Yeah, very much so. And they'll tell you straight out, like, no, there's no substitutions, no, changes to it at all. You're like, all right, whatever. But they do.
I think we're the only ones who do that.
No.
Americans.
Oh. Everybody else just eats it how it comes.
Yeah, like you go to Europe and there's no like special orders or, you know, no gluten free or no dairy free. It's just like, this is what you get. This is what's on the menu. Like, what are you talking about?
I will say that when I did go to Italy, I went with my brother, but I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time who was gluten free.
Right.
So, you know how when you buy
and she was legit gluten free. Like, she wasn't just,
it wasn't,
oh, it hurts my tummy.
Yeah, it wasn't like in This Is the End with Seth Rogen when he's like, oh yeah, gluten it's bad for you. You're like, yeah, that shit's in everything. It's like, so you know how when you buy a new car, you're like, man, I see my car a lot everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. You just become aware of it. It becomes part of your consciousness. So I'm in Italy, and I would see on the little chalkboards in front of the restaurants, or it was like, oh, now serving like gluten free. And I was just like, oh man, it's infected. You know,
infected.
I was like, the tourists must be like, do you have a gluten free noodle?
Right.
Like, what?
But yeah, so anyways, we went to Pasta Sisters, and I really, really liked it. They had, the way that their menu is set up is like, you basically pick a noodle, pick a sauce, and that's about it. You just kind of throw it together. Like you could choose from bolognese, you could choose from pesto, whichever sauce you want, and then they have different pasta options, whether you like penne or whatever. And yeah, you just customize it in that way.
Yeah.
And what else do they have?
And, I mean, they have like a bunch of pastries and stuff like that too. They have lasagna. They have, I mean, it's a legit,
very fresh.
Yeah, it's a legit pasta spot. Like it's not. I would equate it to kind of like a Blaze pizza.
Okay.
You know, like one of those wood-fired pizza places where it's like, yeah, you're building your own, but then they're making it or cooking it or whatever, and then giving it to you. It's not like a Subway where they just have like a, you know, a trough full of pastas and sauces.
Yeah,
build the shit there. It's not a cafeteria.
No. Very fresh ingredients.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
Really good. I think they make their own pasta too.
I think it's all made there, except for anything that says dry.
Yeah.
So like if you go and order the penne pasta, the penne noodle is a dry pasta.
Right.
So I was just like, well, not today. I get dry pasta at home.
What did we get? I got the lasagna.
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing. And then you got
I got the
pappardelle? No.
Now I can't remember. I think maybe. No. It wasn't. Shit.
Well, whatever it was delicious.
It was in the arrabbiata sauce.
Arrabbiata sauce.
Which I like that because that tends to be a spicy sauce. But now that I've gotten into making my own sauces, when we do critical. Make pasta, no, it's just like I tend to make mine not so spicy. It's incredible, but
it's got a kick.
Yeah, it's got more of a kick than like your normal restaurant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm always just kind of like, it could be spicier.
Yeah. So that's basically what we had. You know, they bring you fresh bread, and then we got like a, what else did we get? We got the, caprese salad.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, everything was just really delicious, fresh ingredients, and that's in Culver City, Pasta Sisters, if you guys want to check it out.
I would go back there.
Yeah.
And,
it wasn't anything crazy. That's the thing. It was very simple.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Yeah, it didn't feel like unnecessarily upscale either.
Right.
You know what I mean? It by no means is not like a really nice like place to go eat.
No, but it had like that bistro vibe.
Yeah, it felt more like that. It was delicious, and I would go back just because they have
you could
one
buy
of those Pellegrino sodas.
Oh,
in like quite possibly the best flavor, which is the mandarin flavor.
Yeah, tangerine, wasn't it? Tangerine.
No, it was mandarin.
Really?
Yeah. You sure it was tangerine?
Let's look it up.
Or am I just calling them mandarinas?
It was. Maybe you're right. I don't know. Maybe it's the same.
Well, I don't know. But if you've ever had one of those sodas, they have the like Orangina, or the one that's made out of orange, or the one that's blood orange, or the lemon one. But the one that we had, that's that green can. And Nadia's spot checking me right now because she's probably going to be right. This is what's killing me.
Now you might be right. You might be right.
Like I am on pins and needles right now.
Oh, we're both wrong.
We're both wrong. What is it?
Clementine.
Clementine. Son of a bitch.
It is the best flavor.
It is.
Hands down. Hands down. So it tastes like you're squeezing a clementine right into your mouth.
Yeah.
Fresh.
Or a mandarin. Or a tangerine. Whatever. It's a tiny orange.
What the hell is the difference anyways? Yeah, so good. But yeah, Pasta Sisters called
yeah.
Pasta Sisters in Culver City.
So good it'll make you jazz cat.
Zigga zigga zag, zigga zag. Okay. You have so many things in these notes. My God.
I know, because we have I watched a bunch. I always watch random shit, and a lot of stuff I'm like,
you watch?
I watch it. And I was like, people don't care, you know, but there's certain things that I think are very funny that I'll like stumble on.
Okay.
I stumble on a show on Netflix called Attack of the Hollywood Cliches.
Okay.
And it's, I guess they call it a Netflix special because it's a one-off, you know, but I think it was a little under an hour. And it's Rob Lowe. It's hosted by Rob Lowe. And he is basically going through all the cliches you see in movies.
Oh, I watched this with you. That was funny. Yeah.
And it's done really well.
Yeah.
And it's just like, in horror movies, there's always the innocent girl that makes it, like they call it the final girl. Or how, people will walk away in slow motion from explosions. Or the fact
just
that in a romantic
cliches,
comedy, there's always the meet cute where the people are going to meet, but they always meet by bumping into each other or dropping their papers or spilling wine on each other. It's always like, so that one, if you guys ever get if you see it while you're fiddling around on Netflix trying to find something to watch, Attack of the Hollywood Cliches.
Yes.
It's a good little watch. And
rather cheeky.
and also a show that we've talked about before called the Movies That Made Us. They did a quick like just kind of surprise dropped a new season, which was all just how these horror movies were made. So it's like behind the scenes of like
you
Halloween.
watched all those?
No, just the Halloween.
Oh, okay.
With the one that explains how the mask for Michael Myers is actually an old Captain Kirk mask.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
They just painted, and
yeah,
that's what became Michael Myers. And Halloween was made on a crazy budget, like
nothing.
Yeah, like just no money in comparison to what the new one would be made out of. But it's that's a really good one too.
Well, while you were at work, I had a couple of days off to myself. So I decided to binge watch Made because I knew you weren't going to want to watch it. You already were like, oh, that's all on you, boo. And I was like, okay, I'll get to Made eventually. So I got to Made and I couldn't stop watching Made because it was just like, I was in it. I was like, might as well keep going. And I just plowed right through it. I just binge watched the whole thing, 10 episodes, which they're like 47 minutes or something like that per episode. So it's like 10 hours of my life. And man, that show is depressing.
Well, that's the thing is that it was, I think the first person to recommend it to us was longtime listener of the show, Taylor Kavanagh. Shout out to TC again.
Yeah. And the show's been out for a while. Yeah, she recommended this a long time ago.
And then I was talking to another listener of the show, and also my coworker Dana, and I was like, "Yeah, people are telling me to watch Made," and she looks at me, she's like, "Don't watch it." She goes, "It's not for you.
It's not for you."
She was like, "Nadia can watch it. Nadia might like it, but she's like, but it's not for you."
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's all I need to hear."
Yeah, my mom said the same. She told
said,
me,
"Don't let Omar watch it."
No, she told me like it was. She's like, it's really sad. She's just like, you're just kind of watching this girl struggle through life. You know what I mean? And everyone around her is just, for lack of a better word, just a piece of shit, basically. Either they're narcissistic or, they're just not supporting her and they're derailing her every chance that she gets. And she's just trying to get one hand up in life. And she keeps getting knocked down. And it's so sad to watch because the realities of that, how real that is and how many people, how many single moms, are stuck in this system that is not really built for success. It's not built to help people. Like the way that she goes about trying to, she goes to go get assistance, right? And they're like, okay, well, you don't have a job. And she's like, well, I can't get a job because I have my daughter and what am I going to do with my daughter? Like, I can't afford help to have anyone watch her because then I need a job. Like, she's just stuck. You know what I mean? And there's just no government assistance that really makes sense to help anyone. Like, it's just not set up that way. So it's a hard pill to swallow to see that. And then it deals with domestic abuse. And then with that, it also deals with the fact that how under recognized, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word or if that's even a word.
Under
recognized. That emotional abuse is, and that it even herself, that she was getting emotionally abused and didn't recognize that she was getting abused. And they told her to go to this battered woman's shelter. And she said, why? I'm not getting hit. I'm not getting beat. I want to give it to somebody who deserves it. And they're like, you are getting abused. Like, it's still abuse, And so according to the woman's shelter, they accepted her and considered that abuse. But according to the legal system, she wasn't getting abused.
Because she didn't have any bruises.
She didn't have bruises, and there were no reports of anything, so there was no proof. So it was just like, man, it was just a big kick in the balls every episode.
Well, it's crazy because I come home from work and I think I recognize the boyfriend from the picture on, that comes up on the cover photo. I was like, oh, you're watching Maid? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, okay, just keep watching it. I'm not the kind of person that's like, nah, don't finish what you're already invested in because I want to watch baking shows. Or, something stupid. Like, I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, it says limited series. And you were like, I'm on like episode 7. So I was like, oh, this is clearly going to be 8 episodes. Like, I could totally kick it for an hour. Like, not a problem. And this shit would not end.
Yeah.
It was just like another episode and then another episode. I was like, this series is not very limited. This is an extended series.
It was an extended. It was very sad.
And like I said, I only caught the last 2.5, maybe 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I get a story, like everything that you're saying now, and I got to see essentially the system fail her while she was making some progress, and then the legal system fail her, and then her mom, and all that complicated type.
Yeah,
of shit,
her mom was like undiagnosed bipolar and just a bit of a narcissist, and kind of like blamed her daughter any chance she could for anything that went wrong in her life. She would blame her daughter, even though it was based on the bad choices that she was making and how she was dependent on men, and it was constantly the main girl, Alex, who is the maid. I read a negative review about the show, and I said, okay, I can see that. That makes sense to me. I wouldn't necessarily it didn't ruin the show for me. I still liked it, but I could see where they were coming from there. And what they were trying to say was that through everything that has happened to this girl, she is basically a perfect angel throughout the whole series. She never raises her voice to her child. She doesn't really, get into any altercations with anyone. She's very, for the most part, kind of like calm-mannered the whole time, in spite of everything that is happening to her. She does go into a dark spiral towards the end and goes into a depression. And then the way that they painted that was kind of cool, because they actually physically showed her in a dark hole, like a deep well. And they showed her like in this dark pit. And I thought that was kind of cool, because that was just like a total metaphor for what you really feel like when you're in that place. But the whole time she's like, doesn't ever do anything wrong. She never has one slip up, really. And so they were just like, that's not realistic. Like for where she came from and the parents that she had and what she witnessed and blah, blah, blah. They were like, this was an opportunity for them to show that she's a real human, that she can make mistakes and that that's okay, that she's still an amazing mother, and, maybe this and this could happen, and that would feel more realistic to them. And I thought that was kind of interesting, because I could kind of see that they didn't choose to go that route, because they chose to put her as overcoming it all no matter what. And that she was a person who had great empathy, and that was kind of her driving force, that no matter what her mom did to her, she still loved her mom, still wanted her mom to be there, no matter what this, the baby daddy or whatever did to her. She was in this very stuck position, and it was like, I don't know. You didn't want to judge her for it. You were like, people were like, oh, they were disappointed that she ended up going back to him. But it was like, this is real life. Like, well, it's not real life, but it's reminiscent of real life.
Sure.
Of sometimes people don't have all these choices. And sometimes, when they have nowhere else to go, and their baby daddy's like, hey, come and sleep on my couch. And he was damaged. He wasn't a terrible person. He had his good sides too, but he was damaged from his past, from his mom being an alcoholic, and from him witnessing that, and him being an alcoholic himself. And so that changed him. And so it was just, all that felt real to me. I was like, okay, that's real, you know, that she would and actually go back, because that happens. That's a common thing.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, it's more gut wrenching when the person that you're rooting for doesn't necessarily have any bad qualities or anything that you're like, well, she kind of deserved that one. Or,
right.
Or da, da, da. I mean, unless you're like coming into it crazy late like me. And I was like, why doesn't she just leave? And then you're like, oh, well, she's got. I was like, okay. So all the stuff that I was like, yo,
she tried
why
to
is she
every
this?
time.
Why is she that?
Yeah.
You were explaining, they had already gone through that, or you know, this is this, and I was like, okay, this kind of all makes sense, but yeah, I feel like because she's so pristine, if you will, everything that doesn't go her way is made for the audience to be like, but she's doing everything. How could this not be going her way? Da, da, da.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is honestly what happens to a lot of people that are in, you know, bad situations.
Can't catch a break.
Yeah. And I think that again, just the portions that I saw, I thought that her mom, who was played by Andie MacDowell,
who is also her real life mom.
Who is, her mom. I think she did a great job.
She killed it.
Andie MacDowell is dope. Yeah, she's really good.
No, she killed that role. And she just was perfect.
Yeah, and it was cool because she, like you're saying, I guess she's bipolar or whatever, but she had this
loony.
She had this looniness, this like hippie thing, kind of like a Grace and Frankie thing, like you know, Lily Tomlin's character. She's kind of very hippie and open, and she sells shit at a flea market and da da da. But then there was always that little twinge of okay, she's not just like a spacey lady. Like there's something wrong with her, you know? That she refuses to accept. Yeah. So like I said, from what I saw, I was like, okay, I get it. You know, it was really well done. Yeah. The acting is great, and it did look depressing as all hell. So
it was. Like, it was right. Really, really sad. I shed a few tears, and it was a rough one, but nonetheless, still a good show. And I enjoy watching things that feel real and authentic and are kind of a slice of life. And that's what that felt like. And so if you're into that too, definitely check it out. It has been out for a while. It was like on the top 10 on Netflix for a while, so I'm a little late to the game. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have already watched it. But yeah, it was, I liked it. One other thing that I want to say that I watched today, I was depotting and organizing my kit today, which is such a process. Still have so many eyeshadows to depot, like it's crazy. But anyways, while I was doing that, I threw on a couple documentaries, and one of them that I watched was on Netflix called Heal. And man, I really, really like that documentary, and I kind of want you to watch it again. I will totally watch it again if you're down to watch it. And it was, the whole documentary was about basically the power that our mind and our thoughts have over healing our body, and the science that is backed up, the science that backs that up. And it's just wild to see the studies that they've done, the placebo effect. You know, for example, as we all know, you know, they give certain people medication and they give other people
sugar pills.
Exactly. But the fact is that they think that once they believe that it's helping them, it already starts to transform their body. And it's just, you know, there was a quote that, one of the guys quoted, a Buddha quote, and it said, every man and woman is the architect of their own healing and their own destiny. And that's something that I really already believed in and already felt strongly about. And so watching this documentary kind of like made it more concrete for me, that it was just like, it's just powerful, you know, because there is a natural intelligence that happens inside of our body that connects like you know, when something is wounded, that our body and our immune system and all that stuff, right? It goes to it. It's that system is telling it to heal it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how can people not think that our brains, one of the most powerful systems, is not connected to the rest of the body as far as healing goes? That if you believe it, that there's a power for it to actually happen. And one of the guys that was in it, he got into this, he was a bicyclist and he got into an accident. He was bicycling and this car hit him from behind, launched him across the street, and he broke like all these vertebrae, and they told him he wasn't going to walk, and he was in a wheelchair. And he sat in his bed. I can't remember how long. I think he said for 6 weeks. He did this, I guess, meditation, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
where he would kind of like go inside of his brain, inside of his body, and like walk it through, because he knew what was wrong, and he would walk it through and say like, okay, this is how it's going to get fixed. And like literally, like, I don't even know how to explain it, but he was healing, talking his body through the actual healing process. And every time he would even get distracted, he would restart the thinking all over again. And he did it for 6 weeks, to the point where like 12 weeks later, he was walking again. Like it was just so crazy. And like doctors couldn't explain it. Like it was just, so it was a very interesting documentary. I liked it a lot. I just,
Man, what was it called again?
It's called Heal. And, you know, it just talked about a lot of things, about how the power of forgiveness and how that generates healing. You know, how people, when you don't forgive someone, how much you harbor that inside of you and manifest that inside of you, and that the forgiveness isn't necessarily about the other person. It's not about what you did to me. It is, and doesn't mean you're off the hook for it, but you have to free yourself of that, because what's happening is you're holding on to that. You're not forgiving, and it's only damaging you and your body, because it manifests into things. And so they had talked about all kinds of things, how this woman, she had like stage 4 cancer, and how her healing process went,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't think she was going to make it, and she was on the verge of dying, and just all these really interesting holistic ways and things that like people are like, come on, like you'd want to brush that off so easily. But this documentary, I feel like, really opens up even a pessimist's eyes to it. There's just so much evidence there that shows that this can actually happen. And if we look at what stress does to the body, and we know for a fact what stress does to the body, why can't we think that the opposite can happen? Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like if we're stressed out and we know the negative effects, then why can't we think that positive thinking can heal? Because that's the adverse of it, right? It's the opposite of it.
Right.
So essentially it's the same thing. So it's interesting. I really recommend that you guys check it out. And if there's anybody in your life who you think could benefit from that, I have like a bunch of people in my life who I know could really benefit from watching that. And I hope that it really helps them, because I just really, really deeply believe in this stuff. So,
yeah, and we are definitely counting on the power of forgiveness from our listeners for missing last week.
oh my God.
And that is why we are happy to say that we are back. We've got a lot of things that have been going on that we want to talk about and stuff, and those things will come as soon as we get a couple of things situated. But that's going to be it for us this week. Thank you so much for hanging out with us again. Again, remember, forgive us. And
forgive us. That was your only takeaway from my whole documentary about heal.
I do not feel healed.
You need to watch this, because you're a pessimist, and I want you to watch this, because I think that this shit's amazing. You're like, yeah, whatever.
No, I'm feeling very positive about it.
Oh my God, I hate you so much.
But we love you guys, so thanks so much. Please come back next week. As always, I am your host, Omar. You can find me on IG at OMRVLZ. We are at We Everywhere Baby Pod.
And I am podcast.
You cut me off. You're going to have to forgive. I'm going to have to
You
forgive
looked at me in a way that you were ready.
So you'll never be healed from that.
I am Nadia Moham Official. And again, guys, we still have those promo codes for
for Wild Grain. You can go to wildgrain.com and use the code Nadia Moham Official to get $10 off your first box. And also, don't forget that Nug Club is still there for you. And if you sign up with them and use our code WeEverywhereBaby20, you get $20 off of your first box. I am expecting or highly anticipating my November box. Can't wait to share that to everybody, see what I got. And I have gotten, again, we have gotten contacted by Nug Club saying that some of you guys are signing up with that code, and that's really cool. And I really hope that you guys are enjoying it. Let us know what you got when you get your boxes, and we can all compare. So until next time, we'll see you later.
Ta-ta.
We everywhere, baby!